On June 30th, Alexander Syrsky, the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces, claimed that Russia is preparing an offensive on Kyiv and Chernihiv. Syrsky stated that Putin ordered the general staff to evaluate various offensive scenarios, one of which involves a push from Belarus to capture the capital. However, he acknowledged that Minsk may refuse to allow its territory to be used for such an advance, making an attack from Russian territory into Chernihiv Oblast a more realistic scenario. In light of Syrsky's warnings, Chernihiv Oblast authorities have begun assembling consolidated police units responsible for civilian evacuation and hunting down draft evaders. Military units are billeting in vacated homes. Nevertheless, a series of alarming statements from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and now from Syrsky himself appears to be less a genuine threat assessment and more a coordinated information operation. From the outset of the conflict, seizing northern Ukraine or capturing Kyiv has never been a stated Russian priority. In the Sumy and Kharkov Oblasts, Russian forces are solely focused on establishing a security zone, a goal that Putin himself has articulated multiple times. The front lines make this clear. Rather than advancing far into Ukrainian territory, Russian troops are systematically expanding their zone of control along the border. Moscow's military effort remains concentrated on the Donbass and southern regions. Moreover, the border terrain that Syrsky referenced is largely impenetrable, a continuous stretch of dense forests and marshland. Given the lessons of 2022, it is unlikely that Russian command will repeat that kind of gamble. The most decisive argument against a Russian offensive on Chernihiv is this: Moscow doesn't have the manpower. An operation of that scale would require a force of at least 100,000 troops fully equipped with drones, armored vehicles, and supporting weaponry. Without a new mobilization decree, that is simply not feasible, and the Russian leadership apparently has no intention of issuing one for now. If Moscow has no incentive to open a new front, why is Kyiv working so hard to stoke tensions around Belarus? There are several reasons. For one, Belarus is a vital window to the outside world for Russia, serving as a major conduit for grey market imports flowing in both directions. Additionally, Minsk has significantly increased fuel production and exports to Russia following strikes on Russian refineries. In short, Kyiv is looking for a pretext to begin targeting Belarusian logistics routes and industrial facilities. However, the calculus is a dangerous one. A war on two fronts could bring Ukraine to the brink of collapse far sooner than anyone in Kyiv would like to admit.